All right, back to some seriousness. Peggy and Scott talking about the conflict-infused classroom.
Thank you, Joe. All right, so a lot of you probably know this word infused. Infused means to instill something into someone.
Like olive oil infused with herbs?
Right, or like bacon-infused bourbon, right? But you might be thinking, why would we instill conflict or infuse conflict into a classroom?
Okay, so here's the context. First off, we're talking about adult learning. And we're thinking about how does adult learning overlap with some other big concepts, like storytelling and teaching and role. So in the next 4 minutes, we're going to dwell in that space of overlap between these concepts. And in the center of our Venn diagram here is a strange creature that Scott and I have played with in the past called staged interactions.
So a staged interaction is just a scripted and rehearsed encounter between two or more teachers. It's performed without warning for the benefit of a group of learners, and it's just chock full of conflict. All right, so let's talk about conflict. How many of you guys remember this from like 9th grade English? No one. All right, I'm gonna take you back to 9th grade English. Conflict is a struggle between opposing forces, and it comes in like two flavors, internal, external. Internal conflict is a conflict within a character, right? External conflict is a conflict between a character and an outside force. It takes a lot of different forms. Man versus nature, man versus his PowerPoint deck at this point, and it might even be something like this crap, man versus food.
Okay, so conflict is everywhere. And for the most part, at the highest level, it is unscripted and sort of organic conflict. So who's going to win the debate? Can man beat the machine? Will he eat the sandwich? Will he, whatever. And then we have these scripted conflicts, and we know that they're not real, and we know they're done to make an effect. But in the end...
But then there's... I'll take this one. But then there's another kind of conflict, and that's the one that arises with no warning whatsoever. And these can be the most riveting. It could be a protester throwing a pie in Bill Gates' face. It could be just... Peggy, how many times do we practice this?
But I told you I had a point to make about Taylor and Kanye.
Yeah, but at this point, it's not really about what you want to do. It's about the script.
Look, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. But the slides are moving. Get a move on.
I'm trying to. But I'm fucking nervous up here. You keep stepping on my lines. You're switching all the shit up. All right, this is not improv. We've been practicing this. How do you think these people feel? Wait a minute. Are you telling me that right there, that was a staged interaction?
That's right. And that last question is really the important one. How did you feel during that?
Well, I knew it was staged, and my heart is still pounding. Okay,
so let's look at it from your perspective. How did you feel as Scott went off on me or as Kanye grabbed the microphone? How did you feel as that drama unfolded? How were you engaged in that conflict, and what was your stake in its resolution?
So probably as you watched us pretend to have that fight, you were hopefully deeply engaged and interested in seeing a quick resolution. And this is the point, right? These staged interactions are just an outgrowth of what we know from principles of neuroscience and adult learning, that these seemingly random bursts of conflict are completely riveting, okay? And storytelling, by the way, such as this gentleman here, makes us very malleable and open to accepting new ways of learning.
And so when you combine learning with emotion, the end result is increased it's increased engagement. So the question is, how do we infuse our classroom with conflict so that this doesn't happen in our training sessions?
What Peggy and I did, we worked together to build a job readiness training program for Cincinnatians living in poverty, and we filled it with these staged interactions. So let's do a quick thinking exercise. You're in my class. We just finished an hour on handling a conflict with your boss, and then out of nowhere, the boss walks in.
Scott, did you get those progress reports done?
Yeah, why are you interrupting me during my class about this?
Look, I need them now. Did you send them or not?
Yeah, I sent them on Friday.
When on Friday?
I don't know, check your inbox.
My gosh, thanks anyway.
All right, so she walks out of the room, and all of a sudden we're left with this really powerful and highly teachable moment. Maybe I step back and say, wow, I did not handle that well. How could I have better worked with my boss? Maybe I ignore it, and then we reenact the exact same interaction later in the training and just blow people's minds.
Okay, so in closing, let me ask you this. Do these interactions always have to be about conflict? How could we use interactions like this to demonstrate acts of courage or kindness or teamwork? Let us know what you think. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.